he kept asking me, he said, we are running in losses right now. I said, why? I said, because somebody appreciates my food, I don't take money from them. And then somebody comes back, I get so excited, I give them for free. Because I feel so appreciated about my food. So he said, we will spend thousands and thousands of dollars on you people, training you to understand what hospitality is. But you people have to understand that this guy knows. 17, he starts his own business, back of his house. That's his life. So I come to Manipal, just like you, and I'm sitting there, and they took a chance on me. And I told them that one day, I still remember, 1990, I still remember sitting on the panel in front of all the people who were judging you at that point, and right? And I said, I will open the biggest hotel, Indian hotel in the world. And a hotel in Punjab means a restaurant. But I even didn't know that hotel is a restaurant. But I said, one day I'll open India, the greatest restaurant from Indian history of culture. And I proudly say that after the secret that I work in progress, it was all because I was sitting there in this room, just here. The room was not that beautiful when we were studying here. And now they've really maintained it and everything. But how it looks, it's totally a very small part of what it is. The strength of BACA comes from the faculties. And I have stayed as much connected. I was becoming like a spawn. I was the one who was the most silent one, who absorbed maths from college. And nobody in the college history can deny that how much I've taken from this college. It's phenomenal. And I learned how to speak Kannada. I learned everything about Karnataka food, which has helped me in future projects. I traveled a lot. Yes, I went to Goa twice, but that was okay. But I recommend you searching around you. There's so much to learn, especially people like us who come from North, who have no idea about the beauty of South, or who will explore new cuisines, new people, new talent will come your way, and new challenges will come your way. But the most important thing is that you feel that this is your most important learning experience. This is going to take you forward. There'll be, and I always tell that only you define your success. We are fortunate, and especially coming from India, we are very fortunate that our biggest strength is freedom. Every time you fall, you stand behind. That gives you mental stability to move forward. But only you would be able to define what you want to become. You will be able to define the seam of the limitations of what you can become. The most important thing is to become yourself. What will you do?
I'm sure we've woken you out of probably a late night yesterday.
We had 4 o'clock pack-up issue.
Okay.
And I'm with kids right now, training them.
Okay.
The only thing is why kids ask so many questions, when you're cooking.
Oh, this is that junior...
It gets on air on August 17th.
Okay, fine.
But I also have this thing, okay. This is releasing worldwide tomorrow.
Congratulations.
I have also say one thing that if you ever, once I finish this journey of food and life, one thing you'll be very amazed when you will study what I did was, first of all, I was very clear that I need to find more dimensions of food. You've got to keep exploring, not what the people are telling you to explore, but to explore the beauty of food. And this is the first picture of the book. We come from here, and I think I got two joints started in America when I went back there, and I did not, again, I started my life in Manipal, I restarted everything in America. But one thing only thing which came handy to me was a love for it. That every time somebody says something, and I tell you this is a very small thing, but it means a lot in my career. That during the Wisconsin shooting in America, White House could only approach me, a bawarchi, to create awareness of people through food. That is kind of phenomenal, right? Like, Are Babaji, can you help me? It's like, okay. And I had a problem initially with when people come to Jinoon. When I have guests coming towards me fast, I would say, need to go to the bathroom. So I keep telling them, bathroom is that. No, I want to meet you. It's like, really? I was so used to it, anybody will come to me, they come to ask if the bathroom is. So I would always be that. See, why don't you send us to bathroom? It's so hungry right now. But I think the food industry has changed. It is harder for all of you right now. I'll be honest with you. I was asked this question many times in America. Is it harder then or is it harder now? It's harder for you now. Because of the competition, because of Google Maharaj, that everybody can find information. And most importantly, people were more forgiving during my time. I'm sounding a little elder, but I had failed 4 restaurants in America till I. But today, the chefs don't get so much chance. If your first restaurant fails, nobody wants to put so much money on you to create more. So you always need to go in the first bang and start something which is very powerful and independent. Eventually, remember that I had a big talk with the New York Times, and I said, the greatest Indian food is not in Indian restaurants. It's a very shameful thing when I say this openly, that when I have highest money hit on my shoulder, that the greatest Indian food is in Indian homes. And that is the beauty that our mothers are still cooking. That's the beauty that we are still holding to our roots. And our children do not know so much of packaged foods like the Western countries. You've got to take best advantage of this story. Because the beauty of India is still so pure and untouched. We have pockets of India which are very disturbing. I don't say it's a perfect country. I have to drive all morning in Bombay for 3 hours in traffic to get to your Skype. That's a problem every country is facing right now. But the beauty of India is India. And I think all of you are Indian. Any question from anyone? Any question?
Anybody? Any questions? Parents, students? Everybody's looking at you, Vikas. They're all spellbound. Okay, I'm sure you will have a busy day. Do you want to say anything else?
I just want to say that, I did something very crazy in this college. Very crazy.
Yes.
On this stage, if you're watching me on Skype right now, I sang a Tamil song.
Okay. Okay, can you sing it?
Okay, I think her, and she knows that, uses that. Yeah, I sang a Tamil song. A Punjabi guy singing a Tamil song. I did not know that time what I was doing, but what I was doing, I was being a sponge and loving every moment of living in this country. I said, Chinna Chinna Ase, Sirga Tukum Ase, Mutta Mutta Ase, Mudit Ase. Anybody who can understand Tamil can say, I have the perfect accent, but it's not true.
Yes, there are a lot of evidence here.
Okay, then I did the right thing with you. And I also did one thing which you might not know. I'm the first North Indian who ever performed rituals at the Krishna temple in Udupi.
Okay.
So they would not allow North Indians, they have this thing. And I was the one who learned Kannada. I learned Carnatic classical music. And during this time in college in the kitchens, Carnatic classical music, and I learned one bhajan called Krishna Yena Bharade.
Yes.
Right? And I sang it in the temple. And I wanted to do something which nobody in my generations would think about. I wanted to do that. And that helped me in so many ways. Because every time there was something I had achieved, I said, forget about the success, move on. Like, you can't teach. And I have a very smart, not smart saying. There was a great artist in America, his name was Andy Warhol. He wrote something very interesting. He said that you're an artist, so create. Don't worry about it. Let people decide if it's good or bad. While they're deciding, create more art. Because eventually what will be left of you is what you would create in Nashta. What will be remembered of you will be something simplest, the simplest story you told. Or the simplest Mercedes RTs are fantastic, but nobody's going to say, oh my god, he used to drive a great Mercedes. It's not a big thing. Always have one thing in your bucket list in the college which money can't buy. There should be one thing. You've got to challenge yourself because money, you will be able to eventually make money and buy all those things. But one thing should be on your list in which it says money can't buy. Somebody took your mic. Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, I think there's somebody who wants to ask you something.
You have been to MasterChef and you have won it. Which was the best dish that you made? And was it from the one you learned over here or did you create it on your own?
I have a very strong feeling about, when Junoon opened, people used to tell me, you will never get a Michelin star because my food was very simple. I was not pretending with my food at all. I don't know how to do that. But we got a record Michelin star in 7 months. It had never happened. And this year, I hosted the Michelin Guides dinner. First time in 100 years history, Indian food at the launch. So what I did was I created something which had India put together. I wanted to create something which has India on every dish in every course. So what I did then, that was the only time I combined flavor. When I was doing Punjabi curry, I used okra flavor. Right? When I was doing, it's very interesting actually. But I did it one time. Because these things become like fusion and gimmicks. Our cuisine is so deep that I feel that you don't need to create it. You need to plate it differently. It has the integrity of flavor. So every time you see my food, I will try to plate it in a different way. But I will not try to change its of food. If they're too deep, it's too sacred.
Yeah, the very basic ingredients are supposed to be there.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You getting busy? Okay. Thank you, Vikas.
Thank you very much.
Wish you
I
all
wish
the
you all
best.
the best. Lots of love.
God bless.
Just always remember one thing, you win, we all win, the country wins.
Exactly.
You fall, we all fall.
Wonderful words. I think each and every word will be etched in their minds for I'm sure they're going to meet you sometime in their life. Each one of them was here.
Oh,
Thanks, Vikas. Thanks a
thank
ton.
you. Thank you.
Some people do things differently, some people do different things, but whatever you do, don't do it with always an effort to make more money and make more money and make more money. A lot of banks do that. But then one fine day you'll have a Lehman Brothers and you'll have all kinds of things happening. So don't get into the mode of making money. Get into the mode of doing things with passion because money will follow. When you do things and they're successful, money is automatic. All right? So this was a very simple, I managed to talk to him yesterday and today, and wasn't that nice? That he was an alumni, he passed out in 1993? 93. I'm through with my informal thoughts that I had to motivate you to think that you're responsible for yourself. You're responsible for your creativity. You're responsible for what you want to take out of this place in the next 4 years. Even if you read one book a day, you can't read our 8,000 books we have in the library. My librarian is sitting here and she's so disappointed. She keeps saying, Madam, some books haven't even been opened. Right? So, you got 8,000 books. Put the simple calculation, 365 into 4, how many days? You can't do that because you've got 52 Sundays, and then you've got the national holidays, then you've got your leaves, then you've got your vacations, then you've got your illnesses and your medical leaves, then you've got grandmothers who keep... No, they have grandmothers who die. And then next month they come and say, Madam, my grandmother. I said, but then last month you had said no, that was my grandmother's sister, and she's also my grandmother, so I have to go now because this is my real grandmother. And, so you get all that, but try to find time for yourselves, for your intellectual growth. Because, like we say, you can manipulate people sometimes, you can manipulate some people all the time, but you cannot manipulate all the people all the time. So, please remember, we've been in this business for many years, and so we know how much truth, how much lies. There are sometimes, there's a girl who came and said, ma'am, I have to go. I said, okay, so what's the problem? My father and my mother are divorcing and all that. I said, oh God, let her go, Then I happened to meet the mother. And I didn't tell her, I didn't ask her, is she divorced or what's happening? I just said, I'm so sorry, it must be a big struggle, you're going to singly manage your child and all. She said, what's the problem? No, she was saying. Then I didn't want to say that your daughter said you're getting divorced, So I just thought that there's no divorce. Probably the thought of divorce, she took the leave, but the divorce never happened. But I don't want it to happen. I'm glad they're together. But the number of reasons they get to take leave, the kind of reasons, it's amazing. And so nowadays, if you want your child to come on leave, please be honest and truthful to us, because it's up to you. You can make just 75%, or you want your child, because you're paying almost 1,000 rupees a day, you want your child to be your 100%. It's left to you as a parent. Please don't ask us for leaves, especially. It's okay if it's the biological sisters, brothers, weddings, etc., fine. You have to be there. But apart from that, I think, you should, they want to have a vacation in Thailand and they say grandmother is sick, And then they say, no, I can come after this Chautwa and Terwa and all that stuff. They give me all those explanations in our community, we can't go out, 13 days I have to sit there and all that stuff. So I hope to believe all that, but I think lots of things have changed. Nowadays, everybody has evolved, even in funerals. So let's move on. Okay, you recognize Vikas Khanna in this, and you've seen this slide quite often. Some of you were not there in the presentations when I visited you in the 9 centers, but that is Manit Chauhan, and below there is Vikas. This is the kind of activities we have where you can showcase yourself. Okay, we are number 1 in India. Anybody recognize the gentleman in the light suit? Louder. Right. Okay, fine. And the one on his right? Dr. Ramdas Pai. Okay. That was our Silver Jubilee in 2011. He promised to be there. He was there. And he also said that if I am there, I'll be there for the Silver Jubilee of the Culinary Arts. So that means another 23 years. And if he said it, if he's there, he'll come.
Dr. Ramdas Pai, officials of the Manipal University, the principal of WGSHA, the faculty, the vital alumni who come from all parts of the world, students, parents, ladies and gentlemen, and my colleagues. First and foremost, I agree with Dr. Pai that when we signed this collaboration agreement, I had no idea that I would be here as chief guest on the silver anniversary of this institution. May I say I'm delighted to be here today. It is indeed very invigorating. I come here to gain inspiration from your vision and to gain vitality from the youth that I see. Countries are built on the foundation of education, and this is an island entirely dedicated to education. And if we had a few more islands like this, then our country would grow even faster and bring laurels to our society. Every time one comes here, one can't fail to pay one's tribute to the vision of Dr. Ramdas Pai's father, who laid the foundation of this very grand vision. And it is to the credit of his worthy son that he's carried the tradition further and made it flower. And we can all be very proud that there are citizens of our society who make a contribution as large as this. They have really given shape to the dreams and aspiration of so many youth. And this morning when I came here, I was delighted to see the vitality around me. And many of the girls and boys who left this institution were now young men and women and serving many parts of the world. You could see on their faces how happy they were to be back at their alma mater. And I thank you for coming all this distance, because at the end of the day, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. It is the alumni, it is the credit that they bring, it is their contribution to society that ultimately creates the brand of their alma mater. And thank you for discharging this responsibility so eminently that, as you heard, that this institution is earning laurels for itself, and it is ranked among the very top in its segment where it serves. In 1987, when we signed this, ITC's hotels business was in its infancy. ITC had diversified into hotels in the year 1978, and we were just a little toddler at that point of time. And our first visionary Indian chairman, Ajit Narayan Haksa, he was so impatient to get it moving that within a period of between 1978 and 1984, he had tried 9 chief executives, and he wasn't happy at the progress. At that time, he had almost run the barrel dry. There was nobody else. And until it came to my turn, I was just merely 36 or 37 years of age. And one day I was asked, would you like to run a welcome group? Many people told me that, this is a burial ground of many. You should not go there. But then my youth said, no, yes, we will go and try one's hand. My background was engineering. I had always worked in an industrial enterprise. I spent most of my early life in ITC, in and around the machine, most of it underneath the machines. And when I came to the hotels business, nothing was familiar. There was no entrance or one exit. There was, it was all open from all sides. It was like a microcosm of a city. And I did not know where to begin, because services business is so entirely different from a manufacturing business. And I was trying in my early years to see how to gain a competitive advantage. After all, Taj Hotels and Oberoi Hotels had been in existence for very long, and they had built their brand names. And I knew that many of my predecessors had come and tried, and our legendary chairman, they didn't measure up to his impatience. So I was floundering, and I was trying to figure out a sort of a silver bullet that would fix this competitiveness issue of this industry. And I found that this industry was so different. People didn't travel to hotels as a primary reason for traveling. They traveled to a city because they had either a business there, or they were as leisure travelers, they were looking around for places of historic interest and so on. And this was a service. They stayed with you because it was a service. They were looking for something that was a home away from home, or an office away from an office, and where they could feel secure, But what would gain us the competitive advantage? I know I had read that Hilton said there are 3 competitive advantages: location, location, location. But having fixed our locations, what else was the source of competitive advantage? And I figured that this is a business you could not inventorize. You know, I was in an earlier business that if demand was lax, you could still produce and put it in the warehouse. And when the demand picked up, you could take it from the inventory and put it into the marketplace. You could supervise quality. You know, after manufacturing, you could inspect your output, and bad quality could be segregated from good quality. But in this business, you could not inventorize anything, and you produce service simultaneously as you consume it. And there was no way you could supervise the production and consumption of service, because somebody who delivers a breakfast in the room or delivers a cup of tea is unsupervised. So the human being is an integral part of the product, and essential is really the more important part of the product, because most people could get the same Darjeeling tea or same Assam tea or any tea from the world, but the difference is how it is delivered by the human being. So the human being as an integral part of the product is a very special feature of the hotel's business. And this is a business that is so perishable that once you've lost it, then you've lost it forever. So brand building is so extremely important. And you cannot have a strike. You know, in my earlier business, we could have a strike. So we will say, okay, we will shut down our place for 2 months, 3 months, till we bring to heel people who were agitating. But you couldn't do this in the hotels business, because the consumer would be affected. In our business, consumer never knew. He was never affected because his product, when he consumed, was always available from the inventory. So this sudden eureka-like thought occurred to me that the source of competitive advantage lies in the quality, training, and capability of the human talent, whether it is in the service staff, or it is in the managerial leadership, or it is in the entrepreneurial creative capacity of people. So when I was approached, I caught it like a straw to a drowning man. We said, yes, here is an opportunity to create some machinery for developing human talent. And it is so extremely important. It is unlike any other training. Here the human being has to be trained physically, mentally, psychologically, because at the end of the day, the consumer who comes and lives in a hotel can be very temperamental. He may have had a problem with his wife before he left, or he may have had a frustration with his business, project is not taking off. So he could actually take the frustration out on you. But you have to be like serene lake and absorb both the frustration and the celebration of your guests.